And the number 3 mistake that I made in my walk with God is when we all know that this walk with God is not easy. There's ups, there's downs, highs, there's lows. So I wanted to make a video today going over 3 mistakes that I made in my walk with God. I figured that if I were to tell you guys the mistakes that I've made in this journey, in this walk with God, it will help those who may be in a place right now where you feel like you made a mistake so big that God has not or will not forgive you. Because I know in the season that I was in, when I made these mistakes, I was like, oh my goodness, I am disqualified. I am out the running. This is over. I am done. How can God, how can I overcome this? How can I get to the next place? But at the end of the day, I'm here to tell you, I'm here on camera. I'm here doing what it is that I'm called to do. I found my purpose. I've found my calling. I'm in my assignment. And I've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. Anyone who tells you that they have not made mistakes on this walk with God, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But I know for me, I've made some mistakes, and I want to help you guys learn from the mistakes that I've made to know that you can get back to doing what you were doing, getting back to your walk with God, back where you need to be, without having any shame, doubt, or fear trying to block you and stop you. Now, before we get into these mistakes, we have to understand that the enemy likes to try to use the mistakes to keep you off track. Think about it. You made a mistake. You feel like you can't overcome it. You feel like you'll never get back to where you were. And the devil really wants you to get to a place where you feel like you cannot rise back up from that mistake. And in that mistake, it pulled you away from God. Because typically when we make mistakes, think about a child. When a child makes a mistake or they do something wrong, what are they going to do? They hide. If we look in the word and we look at Adam and Eve, when they made a mistake, what did they do? They hid. They went and covered themselves up. They went and hid because they were afraid. And so this is what we typically do. When we make mistakes, we run and hide. When we make mistakes, we get away from God. When we make mistakes, we want to get away from the one who is there to heal us and get us back to a place where we feel whole and free. If this video is helping you, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I have a long list of topics that is going to help you with your walk with God, to help you grow closer to God, find your purpose, and reach your destiny. If that's something that you're interested in, click subscribe. And let's get into today's video. The first mistake I've made in my walk with God is staying silent and not opening my mouth to pray when I'm in a tough or difficult season. Now, how many people get to a place where life is hard, life is tough, there's so much going on, God has you in this place of isolation, you have so many distractions going on in your life. All these things are happening in your life, and what do we tend to do? We tend to feel too tired to pray. We don't feel like praying. We don't feel like seeking God. We don't feel like reading the Bible. We don't feel like worshiping. We run away from God instead of going to God. So there were seasons in my life where, I was going through it. God had me leave my 6-figure job. He had me go full-time ministry. He had me in a really tough season where it was a little iffy and I didn't know what was going to happen. And I had to continue to have faith and believe in God. And so when I was in this season, instead of me getting to a place where I say, you know what, I'm going to continue to pray. I'm going to continue to seek God. I'm going to continue to go after him. I'm going to continue to read the word. I did exactly what the devil wanted me to do. I shut my mouth. I stopped praying. I stopped seeking God. I let the difficulties of life and the frustration and everything that was going wrong in my life allow me to shut my mouth. And I like to say this is when the enemy puts a muzzle on us. You think about a dog where you want the dog. You don't want the dog to bark, right? You don't want the dog to speak. The enemy doesn't want you to speak. He doesn't want you to speak life of yourself. He doesn't want you to speak and shift things from the spirit realm into the natural realm. So what does he do? He gets into your mind and you get to a place where you don't open up your mouth. You don't speak these things forth. You don't speak life over your situation. And so for me, when I was in this place, my life, everything was going downhill. I always like to say, no prayer, no power. So if I'm not praying, if I'm not seeking God, if I'm not in his word, then I don't have power. I'm not plugged in. I can't hear what God is saying. I can't move the right way. I can't make right decisions with God because I'm not praying. I'm not opening my mouth. And so when we get to that tough season, we get to that tough place, that difficult place with God, let me know in the comments if you've been in that tough season or if you're in that season right now. So in that season, what I needed to do was to open my mouth and pray. What I needed to do was to get into a place where even if I didn't know what to say or I didn't have the power or the strength, I still went to my prayer room. I still went after God. So the number one mistake that I made in my walk with God is to allow the devil to put that muzzle on my mouth and allow myself to get to a place where I didn't continue to pray and seek God. The second mistake I made in my walk with God is not doing the inner work needed to grow as a person. One thing the Lord always taught me is that salvation is just the beginning. And that's what my ministry is all about. My ministry is all about what happens after salvation. After you give your life to Christ, what happens? And so that part of that process is doing the deep work. The deep work is going deep inside. It's going back to the hurt and the pain of your past. It's going back to the things that happened to you. It's taking all of your hurts and your cares and your trauma and everything that has gone on in your life to him in prayer and allowing Jesus to heal you from that. And so in that, I was in a season where I was just tired. I was just lazy. I knew that in order for me to get to the next level, I knew in order for me to get to the next place, I knew in order for me to grow in my walk with God, I had to do the deep work. I had to start doing that inner work. And this is what inner work looks like for anyone who may not know. Lord, I'm coming to you because I'm thinking back to my childhood and I feel like I want to work on my trust issues. I feel like I cannot trust you. I cannot believe in you. I cannot believe and have faith the way that I know I need to have faith. Because if I look back in my life, I had trust issues in childhood. That person did this to me. This person did this to me. And all of that piled up. And it led to me not being able to trust anyone. And so, Lord, I'm coming to you and I'm giving my trust issues to you. I ask that you begin to help me and heal me and help me get to a place where I can trust those around me. That I can trust the people that you send into my life. That's deep work. I don't know how many people do this, but again, the Bible even tells us we prosper as our soul prospers. And that's 3 John 1 and 2. If we prosper as our soul prospers, if our soul has been in a place where it's broken, where it's sad, where it's down, if our spirit is down, then there's no way for us to prosper in all things. So if we prosper as our soul prospers, in the season that I was in, I wasn't allowing myself to get to a place where I was giving this hurt and this pain and this trauma to him. I just allowed myself to sit in it. So doing that, it kept me stuck. It kept me stagnant. And a lot of people, you may be thinking, why do I feel so stuck and stagnant in my walk with God? It may be because God is telling you, bring all of the cares to me. Bring the worries to me. Bring the trauma to me. Let's work it out. But number 2 is not allowing myself to do the deep work that would help me grow and level up in my journey and my walk with God. And the third and final mistake I made in my walk with God, which is actually the biggest mistake that I would not recommend anyone to make ever in life, mark my words, take it from me, because it can truly set you back, is allowing loneliness to lead you to the wrong people. Let's walk with God. As you begin to level up, as you begin to get to the new place, as you begin to get closer to your purpose, your calling, your destiny, your assignment, the enemy is going to do everything he can to get you off track. The devil knows what you like, what you don't like, and he plays that against you as you begin to level up. And when I mean level up, I mean that you go from a place where you give your life to Christ, and then you seek God, and then you begin to find your purpose. And as you begin to find your purpose, and you begin to know your calling, your assignment, God begins to give you your true identity. You begin to know who you truly are. And the devil's job is to say, what can I do to stop this person from finding out who they are? What can I do to get this person to a place where they never rise up and become who God created them to be? And so if we look in the word, we look at Jesus being tempted in the wilderness. When he came out the wilderness, he launched his ministry. He went into ministry. And so the devil will come in a season where you are about to level up. He will send the people, send you to the places, the things that he knows will try to deter you. And so in that, just like with Jesus passed the test. He spoke the word back to the devil, and he was able to level up when he came out of that wilderness season. And so we get into a place where we're on the brink of a level up. We're on the brink of getting to the next place. We're on the brink of getting to where God is trying to take us. And the devil creeps in. He may send that person. He may send that ex. He may send that new person that completely throws you completely off. And so for me, I have been alone. I have been working this out. I have been walking this out. And the devil sent people my way to get me thrown off track on my purity journey. And it threw me off because he sent somebody in the beginning of my walk. And so in that, where God is saying, start the ministry, start the business, go do this. The devil is like, if I can send this person to throw them off, then they can fall off and they never get back on track. So you got to be careful for the people, because the enemy will say, if I do this, will it stop the person from moving? Will it get the person out of track? Will it get them off their post? And so in that, you don't want to allow the loneliness to get you thrown off, because this walk with God can be lonely. God pulls you away from the people. And so when I'm on this purity journey in the beginning of my walk, I'm like, oh, I'm doing everything right. I'm moving, I'm going. So when I took that hit, it was like, oh my goodness, I messed up. I made a mistake. And I know the Lord has me talking about this because I know there's a lot of people where maybe you feel like, oh, I made a mistake and I can't get back up. This video is to tell you to get back up. Like, this entire video is meant to let people know that you can get back up, that you are not disqualified, that your destiny is still intact, that it doesn't matter. God forgives us for everything. There's nothing that God is just going to be like, you know what, you did this and you're completely out. The devil wants you to think that. He wants you to think that you're disqualified, that you can't get back up, that you can't get back in the ring. Even if you're in a ring boxing, fighting, you get hit, you have a chance to get back up. You can get back up and keep fighting and keep going. And so I'm here to tell anyone, and I know I'm talking to some people right now because I know the Lord told me that this was the focus of this video. I don't care what you did, get back up. I don't care what mistake you think you made, get back up. I don't care what you think God cannot forgive you for, and you just made this huge mistake and it's just no getting back up from there, get back up. So number 3 is allowing loneliness to have me make bad decisions in my walk with God. So today's actionable step is to write down what mistakes you feel like you've made in your walk with God, because 1, it frees you. When you start to admit things, when you start to say things, when you start to release things, it releases you because you're not holding it in. The enemy wants you to have secrets and lies and all these things built up inside of you. But when you start to free yourself, when you start to write it out, it is such a freeing feeling. And this is 2 parts because it'll help someone else, because you may write something in the comments and that's exactly what that other person needed to hear. Like, oh my goodness, me, I'm not the only one. So today's actionable step, let us know in the comments, what mistakes do you feel like you made in your walk with God? And if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel because there's so much more. I'm telling you guys, like, so much more, so many more videos. You don't want to miss it. And I have a free masterclass. I want to invite you guys to take my free masterclass, which is called Which Season Are You In With God? This masterclass goes all the way into the different seasons that we walk through with God. There's 4 different seasons that we go through. And I don't want to tell you too much because I want you to check it out for yourself. So if you want to find out which season you're in with God and what you need to do to get to the next season, click the link in the comments or in my description box and check out this masterclass. You don't want to miss it. But there's so many videos here on my channel that if you are someone who's never checked them out, I'm going to put the link here to the faith playlist. Should be one of these videos. Check out the faith playlist. There's so much that you can learn, from journaling to your walk with God, to spending time with God, to prayer room, to building an intimate relationship with God. So much that you can learn. So click the link, check out these videos, and I'll see you in the next video.